This leopard made a huge mistake when deciding to attack African buffaloes. The spotted panther's plan involved a lightning-fast attack on a calf. The leopard intended to stealthily approach, then suddenly strike the buffaloes from the flank, crush the calf's trachea, escape, and return to the prey after the herd departed. However, the plan failed. The buffaloes immediately detected the leopard and instantly counterattacked. The predator had to hide in a tree. But that's not the end. Typically, the panther finds safety in the treetops, but this is not the case now. It was a mistake to anger these buffaloes. The buffalo can't climb up, but it possesses such terrifying strength that it attacks the tree itself. The leopard certainly didn't expect this. The plant, with sturdy bark, mighty branches, and a height equivalent of a 2-story house, trembles as if in a hurricane. The buffalo wants to knock down the tree, or at least dislodge the leopard onto the ground to trample it, lift it on its horns, mix it with dust. The panther, shocked and clinging to a branch, gets lucky this time. The buffalo really loses interest and leaves. But it's a lesson learned for the leopard. A buffalo charges at young lions, acting as if he's the predator and they're the helpless prey. The inexperienced lions, stunned by the force, can't react in time as the buffalo literally tosses one of their kin away with its horns. The buffalo grabs him by the hind leg, lifting him up, detaching the predator weighing as much as a motorcycle from the ground. Notice the short, sharp strikes and head movements of the buffalo, both making the lion somersault in the air and attempting to gore its belly with the sharp tips of its horns. The lion falls to the ground, seemingly avoiding fatal injuries. But now the buffalo will be taken more seriously by these carnivores. The massive buffalo is injured. It collapses at the feet of the lions, wounded after a fierce battle against a group of experienced lionesses. The lions begin to close in, forming a circle to finish off their prey, but suddenly another bull appears. It swoops into the frame in a wide arc, dispersing the lions. The wounded comrade lying on the ground can't defend itself or aid its friend. The hero arrived too late, facing a whole pack of predators alone. The unexpected attack makes the lionesses step back for a moment, but they are ready to confront this bull as well. He stops beside his fallen companion, looks at it with sadness, but then flees. Did he abandon the injured one? Nevertheless, facing an entire pack of lionesses alone, the bull had no chance. He was fortunate to catch the hunters off guard with a sudden charge. Now, they are ready to take him seriously and to deal with the second buffalo in a row. The hoofed creature understands this and runs away. The lionesses finally get to work. They leap onto the lying bull from different sides, restraining its limbs from its last convulsive movements. The most experienced and powerful female grabs the buffalo by the throat. Lions have long, sharp fangs, but don't sever large vessels on the victim's neck. They suffocate it. Although the lioness's prey can no longer resist, the buffalo has a few minutes of life left until the lionesses strangle it. However, finishing off a half-ton, hoofed animal is not easy, even without resistance. Suddenly, the buffalo strike force arrives. The bull, trying to defend the wounded comrade, didn't abandon him, but went for help, bringing it back just in time. Neither antelopes, nor zebras, nor any other hoofed animals can boast such loyalty to their kind. A whole herd of bulls came to save one of their own. The lionesses retreat. They are cornered, but can't completely turn them away. The predatory cats are too maneuverable, agile, and brave. They step back a few paces, but not all of them. The strongest lioness still presses the head of the wounded buffalo to the ground. She no longer suffocates him, and the bull doesn't move. Perhaps the herd was too late? Fortunately, the bulls arrived in time at a very crucial moment. The attacked victim gathers strength and moves its legs and head several times. The bulls see that their kind is alive and slowly approach the lionesses. Credit to the bravest lions here. She struck the leader of the rescue team several times with her clawed paw right in the face. But this couldn't shake the bull's determination, and they saved their own. 5 lions attacked one young buffalo. In the hunting group, there are 2 males and 3 females, while the buffalo is alone since its herd is quite far away. Against such power, the hoofed animal had no chance. The predators were not only numerous but skillful. They effectively used the tactic of surrounding, quickly bringing down the buffalo, and one of the males immediately grabbed it by the throat. Predators from the other sides also pressed the buffalo to the ground. Even one lion holding the buffalo's throat in its jaws could have dealt with the hoofed animal. Still, the claws of the other pride members would have deprived the buffalo of any chance to escape. Suddenly, 2 lionesses started fighting each other. Pretty unexpected, isn't it? Typically, it's the males who settle disputes amongst themselves, right? However, these 2 females also had some unresolved issues, and it escalated into a fierce fight. A terrifying roar erupted as the cats exchanged blows, rolling on the ground, gripping each other powerfully. The other hunters were shocked by this turn of event. One lion attempted to separate the lionesses and stop the fight, but failed. The lionesses were too engrossed. The buffalo realized this was his chance. He tried to stand, but the second lion pressed his head to the ground with a powerful paw movement. However, the lionesses didn't stop fighting. They thought the meal was ready and started sorting out their differences at an inconvenient time. This was a big mistake. Never underestimate the will to live of other beings. Gradually, the conflict between the 2 lionesses drew the attention of the rest of the hunting party. And now, nobody is holding the buffalo on the ground. One lion clearly sided with his favorite, so the second lion let go of the buffalo and joined the conflict to prevent bloodshed. While the lions and the third lioness try to stop the aggressive cat fight, the buffalo decides to stand up again. Though he endured several dangerous blows, he managed, albeit with difficulty, to rise to his feet almost silently. Meanwhile, the predators continued their fight, turning into a whirlwind of claws and fangs that shifted a bit forward. Surprisingly, the buffalo managed to slip away right from under the noses of the battling predators before they even realized what had happened. Underestimating this hoofed animal was a mistake. Perhaps he was lucky, but he made the most of his chance. Whose side are you on in this particular situation? Let us know below. A whole pride of lions attacked a huge bull. One-on-one, the buffalo could easily send any of the predators flying. However, lions act too strategically. They attack almost simultaneously from different sides, forcing the buffalo to continually move from one enemy to another. Victory for the bull is not even worth considering here, only the escape. But the lions are faster, surrounding him. Escaping from such encirclement is not easy, especially when a particularly bold enemy is poised to launch powerful curved claws or grab the leg or even the neck at any moment. The predators were close to bringing down their prey, but the buffalo, with his last strength, managed to reach the water and go to a convenient depth for defense. The combined force of the hunters far exceeds the capabilities of the hoofed animal. But there is one advantage that even the numerical superiority of the enemy cannot take away from the buffalo. This is the bull's height. The head of the tall herbivorous beast is above the water, slowing and restraining the movements of the shorter felines. The bull used this advantage and began delivering sharp blows with its fearsome horns to the predators clinging to its back. The beast only seems unwieldy due to its mighty build. In reality, this buffalo surprises with the flexibility of its spine and sharp horn strikes, threatening to pierce or even hook those predators daring to jump on the herbivore's hind legs. The lions had to retreat, but they are now waiting for the buffalo on the shore. Do you think this hoofed animal remained safe in the water? No, the buffalo charged at the pride of lions. They definitely did not expect such a move here, but underestimating an enraged buffalo was not wise. He threw off the predators who had to retreat. Surprisingly, the furious resistance was skillfully combined with composure. He didn't get carried away with a counterattack and stayed close to the water's edge. When the agile cats launched a counterattack to lure the buffalo onto the land for a prolonged fight and ambush him, the buffalo immediately climbed back into the water. He showed the enemies that a whole pride of lions was not up to the task of taking on this buffalo right here. The hunters had to let him go, as continuing the battle could cost them too dearly. Which of today's cases where buffaloes gave enemies a particularly tough resistance impressed you the most? When these lionesses set an ambush for the buffaloes, they didn't know what awaited them. Instead of panic fleeing, the hoofed animals chose furious resistance. They literally scattered the predators, who had to panically hide in the bushes. Now you'll see other cases where buffaloes demonstrated their strength. The African buffalo is one of the strongest herbivores in the world. Not only because individual males can weigh just a little under a ton, but also due to the desperate bravery of these fighters. Just watch how a buffalo battles opponents significantly larger in size. This rhinoceros is about 6 to 7 times more massive than the buffalo, but the hoofed animal boldly goes for a head-on attack. It seems like their body sizes are almost the same, but in reality they're not. The buffalo is quite tall thanks to its long limbs, but in fact the rhinoceros has a clear advantage. The buffalo knows this, but it doesn't stop him. The buffalo even managed to resist an elephant. All for the defense of its herd, where the animal plays the role of a leader. The buffalo fiercely attacks the elephant, which is 10 times more massive and could easily knock the opponent into the ground with a single blow. Fortunately for the hoofed animal, the elephant turned out to be peaceful and stepped back. Just like this one. The elephant seems to be amused when facing this buffalo. But the big-eared giant underestimated the opponent. The buffalo doesn't retreat and uses its horns. However, it ended without injuries. Probably the buffalo understands what an enraged elephant could do to him. The main weapon of the buffalo is its powerful horns. Their shape is perfect for self-defense. The sharp tips are arranged to cover the eyes and simultaneously allow the buffalo to attack predators if they latch onto the throat from the side. The horns taper sharply and can inflict dreadful puncture wounds. The base of the horns is very massive and dense, and it's located in front of the head and is exposed as the horns curve to the sides and slightly backward. Therefore, the buffalo uses the base of its horns as a powerful battering ram for frontal attacks. The tips of the horns seem to catch the victim of the attack, making it extremely difficult to dodge the buffalo's attack at close range. Interestingly enough, during clashes, males can accidentally entangle their horns. One can only hope that they can free themselves from this entanglement. However, horns are not the only weapon of this animal. Weighing over a ton is the norm for an African buffalo. But some individual tough males can reach a weight almost twice as much. With their physical abilities, buffaloes use their weapons boldly. They often fight among themselves for control of the herd and for females, but most importantly, these animals are not afraid to fight predators and give them fierce resistance. Buffaloes look quite muscular, and despite their mass, they remain agile and nibble animals with excellent reactions. So, besides horns, they use other ways to combat aggressors, primarily their hooves. A buffalo can trample a careless predator that approached too closely. Although buffaloes rarely ram, they can kick with their legs to a considerable height relative to their body. The main enemy of the African buffalo is the lion. These carnivorous cats are strong enough to attack buffaloes even one-on-one. A lion can bring down a young buffalo to the ground and reach its throat, then strangle it, despite the buffalo's attempts to break free. Although hunting buffalo is one of the most dangerous adventures for lions, as even solitary hooves possess tremendous strength. The buffalo can easily lift a lioness on its horns, make her feel like a bird, and slam her head down to the ground with one blow. Moreover, if the buffalo can break free from the grip, it will undoubtedly attempt to attack lions that are too close and are unlikely to evade. Then the buffalo can simply scatter the lions as easily as a bowling ball scatters pins when hitting the center. But a pride of lions poses an even more serious threat, as several lionesses can almost guarantee overcoming a single buffalo. Fortunately, herbivores often come to each other's aid, so the main tactic of lions when hunting them is not stealth, but intimidation. Lions must instill panic among the hoofed animals, making them succumb to fear and start fleeing chaotically. Then it's possible to snatch one animal and attack it amid the stir of retreating buffaloes. If the herd doesn't flinch, it might provide collective resistance. Just look at these impressive shots. Buffaloes gathered like an army and surged like a black wave onto the predators. It's challenging to count the number of hoofed animals participating in the attack, but it goes into the dozens. Even if a single buffalo can resist 2 or 3 lionesses, in the case of such overwhelming numerical superiority of herbivores, predators have no chance. Buffaloes successfully push back the lions. Interestingly enough, hoofed animals don't fight as chaotically and thoughtlessly as one might expect. They form a circle that gradually tightens around the lions. Predators take a circular defense. Buffaloes attack episodically. One animal steps forward, carries out a furious but brief attack, and quickly returns back. Allies nearby cover its shoulders, preventing lions from launching a counterattack. Then another animal repeats the same move at a different point in the formation, and so on several times. This tactic wears out the lions. Now the predators are on the verge of panic. The task of the buffaloes is to drive dangerous neighbors out of this territory. Allowing lions to stay means they will attack, but later, when they can camouflage themselves in the grass. The victims of the predators will be the weakest and youngest individuals. To prevent this, buffaloes are ready for anything. If lions had flinched and fled, herbivores would have simply trampled them. Fortunately for the predators, they managed to maintain composure and withdrew gradually. But they clearly underestimated the persistence of the buffaloes, who practically pushed them from the shore into the water. These lions weren't so lucky. There was no water barrier nearby that would have saved them from final encirclement. Buffaloes closed in the circle and started attacking the enemies. Hoofed animals acted cautiously so as not to accidentally injure each other due to the momentum and inertia. Buffaloes rushed at the lions from different sides, delivered furious blows, and retreated back to their comrades, who timely opened up and let them into the depth of the herd. This broke the defensive formation of the lions, which was a fatal mistake. The predators had no chances. Buffaloes didn't chase them away. They decided to fight to the end and finished off the lions for the next hour. Although the cats fiercely defended themselves and tried to evade, the final outcome of the confrontation was only a matter of time. Buffaloes destroyed a significant part of the pride. As strong and fierce as a buffalo may be, it doesn't know how to breathe underwater like a fish. This obvious weakness is exploited by the crocodile, which attacks the hoofed animals when they cross rivers or come to drink water. Coping in a one-on-one battle with a buffalo can only be achieved by a crocodile at the peak of its strength. Adult, mature, yet still relatively young one. The length of the reptile's body exceeds that of the buffalo, and the crocodile's jaws can accommodate the entire head of the hoofed animal. But in terms of pure physical strength, the buffalo still surpasses the predator due to its much greater mass. Therefore, the crocodile uses cunning. It quietly approaches its prey, grabs it with its phenomenally strong jaws, and drags it to the bottom. The reptile's goal is to drown the hoofed animal, but this buffalo is clearly against such a turn of events. Although the sudden appearance of a terrifyingly scary monster frightened the herd, and no one came to the aid of the buffalo, it found the strength and dealt with the threat itself. It seems like the crocodile is winning. It took advantage of the element of surprise to the fullest, lured the buffalo into the depths, made it lower its head, but the will to live did not leave the hoofed animal. It resisted desperately. A more sophisticated cardiovascular system makes mammals more enduring than most reptiles. Therefore, the buffalo could withstand the crocodile's main attack, and the reptile simply exhausted itself in attempts to drown the prey. The hoofed animal stayed on the surface long enough not to suffocate. It was also tired, but its hooves began to threaten the reptile, so it finally released the buffalo and swam as far away from the threat as possible. In the end, the wounded buffalo swam to the shore to regain strength next to the herd and rest. Meanwhile, the crocodile, in powerless fury, watched from a distance, only now realizing that it had made a mistake in choosing its target. Perhaps attacking a less strong and stubborn buffalo would have been more successful. But this individual turned out to be too much for the crocodile to handle.